Welcome, my friend, to Next Level Change Success. I'm Therese, a change strategist and practitioner with over 20 years of experience designing and delivering impactful change programs across various industries. In this podcast, I share real-world practical strategies to help you create and deliver positive change experiences, whether you're a leader, practitioner, or someone looking to bring new ways of working to life. In today's fast-paced world, change is constant. Here we focus on how you can put people at the centre of your change strategy, because people with a sense of purpose are the most important link in driving performance. So if you're ready to create meaningful change and achieve all the success that comes with it, keep listening. Together, let's change the conversation and take it to the next level. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Next Level Change Success. My name is Therese and I'm the founder of myvirtualchangemanager.com. I'd like to acknowledge that I'm recording on Tharawal country and pay my respects to the traditional owners and custodians on the land on which I am recording, and to elders both past, present and emerging. This episode, it's about engaging all of the senses in change. And oftentimes we forget when we're in the doing, and especially in projects, because the process and the reporting and everything can sometimes it can stifle the creativity aspect of change. But I do, as a change practitioner, and when rolling out change, have these moments of thinking, just take a step back, have a breath, take a moment, take a hot minute, as the kids say, and have a think about, are we getting enough cut through? Are we engaging enough? Is there some way we can do this differently? And I've posed that question to change teams who come with a plan. I push sometimes in relation to creativity if I think something is just pretty black and white, a little bit monochrome and not colourful enough, and will it achieve what it's going to? Especially if the change is transformational, if it's something where you do need to have a bit of an interrupt for new behaviours to be embedded. And I won't just talk about processes, I'll talk about behaviours. How do we get the behaviour to change? And so engaging all of the senses when it comes to change is just one of these opportunities that you might be missing if you're a project person or a change person. And if you have the chance to engage some creative individuals across your organisation for input and say, this is what I'm planning, this is what I'm thinking, and the challenge I have is, how can we zhuzh this up? How can we do a glow up on this change plan so that it can come to life more, so that I can achieve the cut through that I need? And just remember, one of the caveats to this is that you're not glowing up something which isn't a priority or a big impact across the organisation, because sometimes that can mean that your project or your change might take the airtime of a bigger program, which should and may require it. It's important to always understand that you exist and your change will exist in a broader landscape, and to have the courtesy of not trying to dominate the airwaves as such if there's another change coming through which is bigger. But certainly the challenge at the moment, and because of a bit of potentially you might be working in an organisation which is quite conservative, know what battles to fight, know what things to try, see what you can do, and then go from there. See how you can navigate it from there. Because sometimes obviously everyone has a bit of a preference on words, images that are used, and you may be able to just nudge here and there and not achieve too much cut through or too much variety in the way that you approach things. However, you should always ask the question, and having others from within an organisation sit around a table just on a think tank session to go through the change plan and say, is there another way we could do this? For example, you might want to have a different type of change champion network. You might want to do special showcases, pop-up stand. You might want to do a lunchtime sit and chat, lunch and learn session, or you might want to have something interactive, which is a little bit more abstract. You might want to get people to help do an artwork for the change, those type of things. These are, or some other creative exercise. The team, that's impacted gets to build a Lego version of the new product that you're going to sell. Anything that really might be a bit more fun, might lift the spirits, might be a great team motivator. It might be a great team activity, which then also helps build the new sense of something new and excitement about a launch that's going to happen. There's actually so many things that you can do. And whilst every time I think, well, everyone, does the obligatory morning tea, there could be something unique with that morning tea. It could be about the magic of this new system and you get a magician there. These type of things that you want to break and explore the creative boundaries, obviously within your budget, but definitely making sure that you can do something that's a little bit more fun so that you get more cut through. And people remember those events. They remember the experiences. From a sensory perspective as well, the concept of like the branding of food for the event, looking at not just the visuals around logos, images, the emotional connection to the change. So it might be a video about the working groups that collaborated during the building of it. So it might be like a bit of the journey and the story about how you've come to this point of your go live. It could have humor, fun, all of these things. And then think about the sense of smell. And certainly some organizations do have a signature scent. It could be something that you look to weave into your change. A signature scent, it's definitely a sense that most people do not engage enough when it comes to the changes, and especially if it's transformative, could be something new and unique to bring to the change that you're implementing. So you might have a soundtrack, definitely a signature song that you might want to use. You might want to put it out there for people who play music in your organization to submit a track and a catchy tune. It might result in people humming the signature tune for your change. Engage all the senses. One of the things I did forget about when doing a transition that was happening to flexible working, those who were people who could help out on the day were wearing purple shirts so that they were very visible. That's something you could do with your Change Champion network on the day that there's a go live, if that geographically people are within the same area or even if they're dispersed. And again, I talk about this around it lines up with the size of the change that you're introducing. But most of all, when it comes to sensory aspects and gadgets, etc., there can be some pretty basic things which can be effective around and useful because there's so much wastage now with a lot of the promotional things that people produce. Think about being conscious of the impact on the environment when choosing things, and so they are practical, and also about the brand longevity with certain elements and whether that is suitable for your change. And once again, as I keep reiterating, it depends upon the impact and the size of the impact of the change itself as to how much you would have a play in that area and obviously your budget. So engage as many senses as possible. If it's a transformation, have it as an experience. Have it as a sense of a new beginning, a shedding of the old, new ways of working, exciting, purposeful, real. And when I go back to my desk, I have a different experience again, and just introducing all of that. And think about, and this is definitely from the marketing days, about where the places in your organization physically where people gather, where you can maximize the opportunity of exposure and reinforcement for your change. So whether that's a break room, a lunchroom, believe it or not, the back of the toilets in your organization is prime real estate around people being a captive audience and can read and engage with the communication there. Often underrated, but it is a captive audience, that's for sure. So consider that, and in intranet, but if your organization has an app, think about how that also lends itself to the tech cut through and promotion for your change. Just a few things to think about, and if you're thinking about who to get around the table from a creativity standpoint, at the very least, bring your communications people, bring your training people, bring them all together. HR business partnering or people and culture business partnering, some of the other creative, studio people, as well as people in the business who you know to be really good influencers and creative people. You typically get to know who they are because they're the people who are doing things all the time and really actively participating in your organisation and on the culture committees, etc., so that you can get ideas, because ideas is how these things start to take form. Doesn't mean that the initial idea is something that you would just take and run with. You would need to always validate that it's going to work within your organisational context. But it might be the seed of an idea that you might change just a little bit for it to be palatable, I guess, for the organisation and for the change that you're going to introduce. I hope this has inspired you a little bit, even a little bit, just to go and have your change plan, meet with other fellow changees, get them to review your plan, think about the interventions. How can we do it creatively? What's going to be our catchphrase? What should I run a competition with this? How do we get the new behaviours in place and obviously have the interventions scale up to the level of the impact in your organisation, but bring in the creativity and engage the senses. Thanks for listening, and if you're finding Next Level Change Success a really valuable podcast, please leave us a comment, leave a rating, reach out, come to myvirtualchangemanager.com, let me know, and definitely refer this podcast to your friends, family, anyone in the project landscape, anyone looking to influence others within their organisation around new ways of working. They might be struggling in doing that. So some of these episodes might be of assistance to them if they're a podcast listener. If not, they can jump onto the website and sign up for some of our webinars or training if they're that interested in change and upskilling in that space. I hope you have a wonderful day, and just remember that change matters because your people matter. Hi, it's Therese here again. I just wanted to mention that we have the Change Intelligence webinar series happening this year, and you don't want to miss out on any of the topics that we're going to cover. It's a live webinar series talking about change resilience, change frameworks, connected thinking, how you can change your mindset and the mindset of others, behavioural change and what that can offer. If you don't want to miss out, then come to myvirtualchangemanager.com. Just simply register and we'll let you know when the next webinars are happening so that you can come along. Spaces are limited, so be sure to jump across and register as soon as you can, and you'll see some of the topics that we're going to cover. I hope to see you there and to continue to work with you to create positive change experiences.